So I've just unpotted this monstrous thing here. So this is Gorgonidium intermedium. It's a big aroid from Peru. So I wanted to dig it up because it was 2 or 3 of the main ones were going down. So let's have a look at this and see what the tubers look like. This beauty is Gorgonidium intermedium. It's a big aroid from South America. It's from Peru. It's grown really well for me in the garden here. I'm on my 3rd year and it flowers for me every year. So the only problem is now at this time of year, probably not too bad actually, got into September, you can see it's dropped. So I just propped it back up, but it's already split off at the base. You can see down there. So I'm going to be able to just literally pull this up from the base, and then we can start looking at the tubers. There is one that's still erect, so I might try and leave that intact so we can have a look at it. And we could actually leave it a bit longer, but I need to start sorting this pot out because see these little baby ones, these are offsets that have grown and they're already coming off the tuber, as you can see. So what we'll do is, rather than tipping the pot out, I'm just going to pull these up. I'm going to have a look at them. I'm going to sort of like have a root round with my glove on, and we'll see what we can see in the pot, and then we'll see if any are still good. So I'm just going to move a few of these other plants around. This is a potted Araceae hookeriana that we can move. Did a video on this the other week, so we can move that one out of the way. And a couple of little potted colocasia. So let's have a look at what we've got here. So we'll pull this big one up. So that's the main one that was down, that's come out, and as you can see it's pretty huge. It's a big old leaf that's starting to go down. It's got really nice veination on the underside of the leaf, and as you can see it comes up from the petiole straight into the midrib like that, and it's got a really strong midrib, and that's why it can stand a lot of these UK winds quite well. It's, you know, it's stood up quite well all summer for me. Flowered early on, and I'll show you the flower on screen there now. But we didn't, we got 2 flowers off it, but we didn't get any seeds. It didn't set any seeds this year. So what we'll do is we'll just start rooting around carefully. We'll use this other pot next to me to put the soil in, and we'll just see what we can see bit by bit. So normally, as you've seen me do many times, I would just tip this out, but with this one I think this is going to be massive. I think that it's going to be an absolute mountain of tubers in here. So I think if I just get ready for that just by slowly pecking through it. It's not one that you see a lot in well, I've never seen it in a garden centre. Oh, that one's come out easily, so that one was quite a healthy one. But obviously it was ready to come away. I was hoping to get at least one of them that stays. So let's dig round the edges first. I'll go carefully and I'll just root through just to make sure there's no tiny tubers in there. It might take a while, but it's worth just taking your time with this. So I can feel just under the surface there's some quite solid tubers in here, and it might have been better tipping it out, but let's just see how we get on. So what is that? That looks like it might be a tiny tuber already. I'm not 100% sure without washing it, but they could be tiny tubers, so we'll just put them on one side and see what they look like after. There could be lots and lots in here. So I absolutely love doing this. I don't know why, it's weird. I actually enjoy this bit more than the act of having them in the garden and growing them. I don't know why I've got this thing about tubers and then digging them up to find out what we've got, but it's kind of an addiction. Let's have a look there. So they've gone deep, which means they're probably, I assume, that they can retract into the ground like a lot of aroids can. I don't actually know if that's true, but they are deep. They're deeper than I planted them anyway. But they feel absolutely solid in here. So what I'm trying to do is go around the edge so I can come out underneath and have a look at them. This is quite exciting for me, I have to admit. I'm absolutely loving it. Now the soil is quite dry, which is good. I want to say dry, it's not soaking wet, so it's obviously draining really well, which is what we like. So all of these aroids like a, you know, something, either an aroid mix that has a lot of like orchid bark in it, or, you know, organic material but loose, or this, which is a heavy grit and perlite mix. Drop the camera there. But this is you know, it's Peru, so it's not like the Mediterranean and the Himalayan and the other aroids. It's from a whole different part of the world. So you would, you know, you would think South America, Colombia, Peru, Chile, all of those places, you'd think you'd be more used to the more tropical aroids. And they have a different growth habit than this, so getting down to it now. I think I've found one here. I'm gonna go underneath. There's definitely a big one in here. I can't even move it. Oh gosh, yeah, there we go. So there's a big boy, and now I've got to be careful because there will be little offsets all around this. But that is huge. That is like a potato, a big potato. It's got lots of little bumps on the side there. Now that one, I don't think that's the one we just pulled out. I think this is one that went down last week or the week before, because I can't see a clean break off the top. But we'll put it down there and we'll just see what we get. So let's go down deeper. What that means is if we go down deeper this side here, we can come up underneath the others, feeling each individual handful for any tubers. So always give the soil a little fondle if you're not doing a full tip out, because there's always that chance that there's tiny tubers breaking off. Now I don't get really tiny ones. I was surprised with those first two that we got out with this one, but I'm not 100% convinced they are actually Gorgonidium. They might be something else, but we'll see. We'll see. So getting there now to this one, and it's still, this one's still healthy. Oh my gosh, this is so stuck. This is attached to the main one here. This is quite surprising. I'm beginning to now wish that I'd pulled the pot and tipped it, because we're going so far down. I'm going to try and keep this all intact and try and wash it for you to show it you intact, which I may or may not be able to do. You can hear me straining. This is harder than I possibly expected. Get in there now. Keeps. Oh no, it broke. There we go. Oh, that's a big one. Oh my gosh, that is huge. That's the biggest one I've ever had of these. That's more than one. So that's a root mass there. So it might not be as big as I expected, but that is still attached to that one. But that's where the top broke off today, and that's quite a big one. So I'm going to wash that as it is and see if there's any tubers. And then Let's just go back in, see if we've missed any. And here's another huge one. And this is the one that's still attached. As you can see, that's got some offsets there. Sorry, camera slipped a bit there. That's got offsets there. So what we'll do is we'll keep that one attached so you can have a good look at it. Again, that's a little bit early to dig this one up, but I don't mind because I wanted to sort this pot out anyway. And I don't think anything's gone any deeper. And I don't think there's any more there. Okay, so I'm going to go and get a big tray and a jet wash, and I'm going to jet these off and then we'll have another look. Okay, so I've washed them all off, and as you can see, they look completely different without the mud. They are huge. I mean, this is my little carnivore collection below it, and look at the size of the leaves. They're just monstrous. So these are the biggest I've ever had. They're just the full height from my bench. Can't even get them in the camera to the ceiling of the greenhouse. There was a little rogue in there that I found. Now this is a weedy thing that's getting everywhere in my garden. So this is Saramatum venosum, and you can tell by its rachis, the shape here, and obviously the petiole there. So we'll keep that one. So that, you know, that's a tuber there that can get dried and saved, but it isn't what we pulled up. This is the petiole that snapped off that drove me to do this, and then all the other little ones that have snapped off as well. So here, sorry you couldn't see that. And then what we've got is 3 main tubers. So we've got this one with one little straggly leaf left over. So that can come off. We literally we're going to lose this one anyway. So that one's come off now as well. That can go in the compost. And then what you can see here is the main tuber with all of these little offsets on the top, and loads of them, and very few of them have actually fallen off, which is why these form clumps. And then underneath you can see the base of the tuber, and as you'll know if you watch my videos a lot, this mush underneath isn't rot. This is the old tuber. You can see it sliding off like a potato skin. That is what this thing fed on at the start of the season, and then once it got going, it grew this one, and then it grew all of its tubers as well. So these offset tubers. So you can see the shapes there. That's a rounded tuber coming off. That's an offset with offsets, and the same here and the same here. So I've probably got, I mean, I can't even tell you. There's probably 20 tubers, maybe, I don't know. Without pulling these off, I couldn't tell you how many, but this is the most prolific I've ever had. Now you could pull them off. Now you could work around it and go, which ones are there? So this one, for example, you could pull it off like that. As simple as that. I didn't even give it any pressure there. But I don't do that. Generally speaking, what I do is I dry them like this, maybe trim the roots down a bit, but fully dry them like this so I can see which ones really want to stay attached and which ones want to come off. And then in the drying process, the ones that want to come off will come off. So that's, you know, don't force it, let it do it itself. But I don't like to leave these in the ground in the UK. I've never risked them yet. Now I've got a lot more. Bear in mind I started off just with two tiny little tubers, no bigger than this when I started with them a few years ago. So you know, I wouldn't risk these bigger, you know, huge tubers really. So I think what I do is I might try 1 or 2 of these in the ground somewhere safe and just see how it goes. And then the last one is this one, and this has still got the leaf attached. So in theory I shouldn't really have dug this one up yet, but it has broken off all of the bottom of the roots there. Now you can see what I said before. I think it is contractile. So the way I always tell is, can you see how this looks like an elephant's trunk here? So that's got an outer and an inner part, and what happens is as the root goes down into the ground,
it contracts and it bunches up this like a sleeve, and that's usually a sign of a contractile root, which means the tubers can pull themselves down into the ground to protect themselves from rain or frost or whatever it happens to be in that particular climate. I don't know a lot of, oh, that one's just come off in my hands as well. Look at that one. That's another one there, kind of an odd shaped one. So we'll put that one down. So I could actually try and put this one back in the ground and leave it for a few more weeks, but I don't think there's any point. We've got so many of them, and these are clearly healthy plants. So I'm not going to do any damage by you know, chopping that off, letting it dry, and potting these up. But there you go. That's a very successful Gorgonidium intermedium crop, and I'll have spares of these actually. So if it's something you've been after for a while and you're in the UK, then you know, tap me up. I'm going to definitely have some of these available. So yeah, that's another one down. I do love this time of year. I said it at the start of the video. The tubers going down, the plants going down, and me getting the tubers out is probably half of the fun for me. I absolutely love it. I hope you're enjoying these videos, and if you are, please give us a thumbs up, because it does help us to get in front of other people that like these kind of crazy plants. And if you like us enough to give us a thumbs up, then subscribe to the channel.